Good day, folks. Welcome to Bright Mind Academy, where we bring brilliance to every lesson. Now, let's look at more of us applying what we already know in solving now complex examples. What do I mean by that? We already know how to find the equation of a line of a function, how to draw, and all of that. How to calculate x-intercept, y-intercept, x-intercept, y-turning point, y-intercept, I mean, and all of those, right? But now in an exam, you won't get those easy things, right? So what you'll get, remember I told you when during the start of the series of the videos, that they will not give you a parabola as it is, but they'll rather mix that parabola with, normally most of the time, they mix it with a straight line, or they can even mix it with hyperbola, mix it with, or rather, exponential, whichever. Okay, so you need to know how to interpret that very beautifully and nicely. Okay, hopefully it is clear. Hopefully my sketch is clear. It says now the following sketch shows the graph of f of x. It is equal to x squared minus 6x minus 7, and g of x is equal to ax plus b. So this is our, okay, let me minimize this. We know this is our quadratic again, or let me say, this is our parabola, and this is our linear or straight line. Okay. Now, let's analyze some few things. We know that A and B, okay, when we look at the graph of, okay, let me minimize also this one. When we look at the graph of F, okay, we can see that this is what is the parabola, right? And if it's the parabola, A and B are the x-intercept, and C it is my y-intercept, and T is the coordinate of the what, of the turning points. That is what I know about the what, the function of a quadratic. Okay, what do I know about the straight line? If this is my straight line function, this is my what, this is my, sorry, B is my x-intercept and C is my y-intercept. So can you see now they share B and what, B and B, it is a common point. Rather, let me say it like this. B is a common point for, okay, I want to minimize all of these. Cool. B is a common point. Sorry. B is a common point. Common point. Or let me say point of contact. Actually, common point was correct. Common point between what? F and the graph of G. Okay. Also, when I look at C, C is the common point, the point of contact, right? Remember when where two graphs meet, it means those graphs are equal at that particular point, right? It means at B here, f of x, it is equal to g of x. Similarly here, f of x is equal to g of x. And then what do I see? This is perpendicular, so it means it is a very straight line like that. So, and then this is also a straight line like that, and we have O, R, all of those. So let's see. Here we are told that B is a what? B is the turning point of F. Okay, we already know that. TPN, it is a what? And QRS are perpendicular to the x-axis. So it means if they are perpendicular, whatever x coordinate of T, it will be the very same x coordinate here, also the very same x coordinate here for P. Okay, so it's gonna have these on all the points on this line will have the common x coordinate. Also here, they will have the same x coordinate. What will change is their y respectively. Cool. Then A says determine the length of AB. Okay, length of AB from A to B. What is the length? Can you see now the distance that I find I want it is the horizontal distance. So let me do a summary here. For horizontal distance, distance, you're gonna say x right minus x left. The x coordinate on the right minus the x coordinate on the left. But if they want you the vertical, the vertical distance, you're gonna say it is the y top minus y bottom. Okay. And always the answer that you get here from both of these, it should be a positive answer, because distance, when you're doing physics, you know that distance is always positive. The one that can be negative, it is displacement. Okay. AB, can I get AB? For me to find the length or the distance of AB, do you agree with me that on number A, for me to find the length of A, okay, I need to find the x coordinate of B minus the x coordinate of what? Of A, because remember the length or the distance, it is x right minus x left. Do I know the x coordinate of B? No. X coordinate of A? No. But I need to check what is A and B. Remember I said A and B are the what? Are the x-intercept of the what? Of the parabola. So it means I can find them, okay? Because I already know the equation. So for x-intercept, if I want my x-intercept, I need to let what? Y equal to what? To 0. Then I'm going to have 0, it is equal to x squared minus 6x minus 7. And then 0 will be something like x minus 7, x plus 1. And then, therefore, x will be equal to 7, or x will be equal to negative 1. But I need to show which one is A, which one is B. Okay? I can see that A, it is on the negative side, and B is on the positive side. So it means now, therefore, A, which is on the negative side, it is negative 1 and 0, right? Or B, which is on the positive side, it is 7 and 0. And then, do you all agree with me that I can find AB? Therefore, AB, these are the coordinates, very, very important coordinates. Okay? Therefore, it means AB, I can now find AB by saying, what is XB minus XA? Now, XB, it is 7 minus, what is XA? XA is negative 1. So the distance that I get, it is 8 units. Okay, so this is fairly not that difficult. Okay, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not that difficult. I want you to understand. Okay, yes. So now what I'll take note, what I want to take are these two. These two are important, very, very important. We might need them later on in the future. Okay, then the length of AB, I don't think we'll need it. It's fine. We'll just remember that it's just 8. Okay, let's answer Let's answer number 2. Number 2 says the coordinate of C. What is the coordinate of C? What is C? C, it is the y-intercept of what? Of F. It is also a y-intercept of what? Of G. So I can either use F or G to find the what? The y-intercept. But this one does not have any information. So I'm going to opt to use what? F. But I know that it's going to be negative 7. But remember, I'm going to say for number B, for y-intercept, I'm going to do what? I'm going to let x be equal to what? To 0, and then I'm going to have y is equal to x squared. Okay, 0 squared minus 6 into 0 minus 7, then it is negative 7. Then it tells me that C has the coordinates of 0 and then negative 7 when y is blah. Here are those coordinates of C, okay? I might need to store them somewhere. I'm going to need them maybe in the future. Who knows? Okay, I need to highlight them also. Very, very important. Easy, very easy question for 1 mark. Number 3, this is A3, okay? A3 says, determine the value of A and B. Where do you find the value of A and B? We find them here, okay? Okay, if that's the case, how can I find these then? Okay, remember, for me to find the equation of a straight line, I need a what? I need a gradient and a what? And a point. Okay, so remember here the points are what? 7 and 0. And here C are the points which are 0 and -7. So I might use gradient formula between what? C and B, so that I get the gradient and then use any of the points and find what? The equation. Is that clear? So this is basically, they are basically saying to you, find the equation of g of x. Okay, so how can we do that? We can say on number C, find the gradient. Okay, gradient between what? Gradient between A and B. Okay, remember the gradient is going to be yb minus ya xb minus xa. Okay, what is yb? I look at here. Remember, this is x and y. This is x and y. Yb, it is 0 minus, oh, sorry, not ab. Between b and c. Sorry, between b and c. Sorry. Gradient between bc. Okay, sorry about that. Gradient between bc is going to be y coordinate of c minus y coordinate of b divided by x coordinate of c minus x coordinate of b. Remember, the gradient formula says m, it is equal to change in y divided by change in x, which is basically y2 minus y1 divided by blah, 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 blah. Okay, then what is yc? Okay, here is c. C, it is -7 minus what is yb? It is 0 divided by xc, it is 0 minus what is xb? Xc, it is 0, xb, it is 7. Then it gives me something like 1. Okay, and it's positive, the gradient is positive. Therefore, it means I have y, it is equal to 1 x plus c. Okay, so it's basically that, which is the same as x. Okay, so I can sub any point, sub what? I'll sub 7 and 0, or 0 and -7. Either of the two, it's going to give you the same answer. So I'm going to sub this one in. So I'm going to say y, actually, okay, because I already know the y-intercept. Okay, it's fine. It's going to be y is equal to, y, it's what? It's 0 here when I sub this point. Okay, 0, it is equal to x, it is 7 plus c. Therefore, c is going to be -7. Therefore, the equation is going to be y, it is equal to, what is a? A, it is 1 minus 7. So if this is the equation, what is the value of a then? Therefore, the value of a, remember a was here, it is 1, and the value of b is -7. This is us answering the what? The question, basically. Okay? Yes. That's that. That's that for A and B. Let's quickly erase this and move on to the next question. Okay. Okay. The number 4, this was number 3. Number 4, the coordinate of t. What is t? T, it is the what? Okay, I can remove this. I'm done now. T, it is what? T, it is the turning point. Okay. So I know for the turning point of this part, in this format, if I'm giving this in this format, I'm going to say for the turning point, x is equal to -b divided by 2a. I'm avoiding to completing the square. Okay. -b. What is b? B, it is -6 divided by 2 into what is a? A, it is 1. And then I get something like 3. Okay. And it makes sense that x is 3 because it is somewhere here. Okay. Or if you did not want to find x in this way, or you're forgetting, just remember that the x coordinate of the turning point, it is the same as the axis of Smith. So it is exactly in the middle. So if I were to take the midpoint between A and B, it's going to give me the x coordinate of t. What do I mean by that? If I were to say the x coordinate of the turning point is the same as x coordinate of A, my x-intercept, plus x coordinate of my B, the other intercept, divided by 2, I get that the x coordinate of A, it is equal to -1 plus the x coordinate of, namanga, good. It's like nanamanga kapakintu. Okay. X coordinate of B is what? It is 7, then divide by 2. How much do I get? -1 plus 7, it is 6. 6 divided by this, it is 3. So can you see? Still the same thing. But now what's important here is that you need to find y. You substitute y back to your what? To your original what? Equation. Yeah. Okay. Then it's gonna be 3 squared minus 6 into 3 minus 7. Then I get 9 minus 18, which is negative 9 minus 7, which is negative. Yo. Negative 9 minus 7, it is negative 16. Therefore, the coordinates of the turning point, or the coordinates of t, it is what? 3 and negative. Negative what? 16. Like that. Let's take it somewhere where we might store it. We might need it in the future. Okay. Yeah, we are saying this is t, the coordinate of t, right? Then let's look at the other question. So these questions are so nice so far. The length of PT, okay? The length of PT, it is a vertical distance. Remember, for us, it is number 5. For us to calculate the length of PT, which is the vertical distance, I need what? Y top minus Y bottom. Okay. And then do I know the Y top? The Y top, it is basically Y coordinate of P minus Y coordinate of T. Okay. Do I know the Y coordinate of P? No. Do I know the Y coordinate of T? Yes. Remember, the Y coordinate of T is what? Negative 16. I know it, okay? So I need to find the Y coordinate of P. How can I do that? I already know the equation of this one, okay? The equation of this one, it is y is equal to x minus 7. So if I can get the x coordinate of P, then I can substitute in here and get the y coordinate of P. But now I do not know the x coordinate of P, but in actual fact, you do. How do I know that you do? Remember, I said that if this line is perpendicular like this, all the points in this line will have the same x, which is equal to 3. All these points on this line will have the very same x, not same y, only same x, because they lie on the same line, okay, which is the axis of symmetry. So it means now the x coordinate of P, it is equal to how much? 3, okay? The x coordinate of 3, it is equal to how much? 3. So the x coordinate of P is equal to 3. So it means if I want to find the y coordinate of P, because since well it lies on the straight line, okay, since well it lies on the straight line, it means I need to come here and say y is equal to 3 minus 7, and then I get the y coordinate of P, which gives me something like negative 4. So it means now I have the y coordinate of P as negative 4, and then the y coordinate of T as negative 16. Like that, okay? So I can come here and say, what is the y coordinate of P? Because it is the one that it is at the top. It is negative 4 minus into what is y coordinate of T. Y coordinate of T, it is negative 16. Remember, I said the distance will always be positive. Then I get something like 12 here. So can you see how we work out with distance? Okay, yes. The tricky part here was you just making understanding that the value of x on this line will be the same as the x coordinate of t. That was only the tricky part. On that part, I want to believe. Okay, then it means we now know the coordinates of p, which are 3 and negative 4. We might not need them in the future. Okay, we might need them in the future, or we might not. Okay, and then number 6. Number 6, they say determine the length of OR. What is OR? What is OR? OR. Okay. The length of OR if Q what? If QS it is equal to what? To 18 units. Okay. So let's look at QS. Remember, for us, if you wanted to find the QS as a distance, QS, it is a vertical distance, okay? So it's going to be the what? The y coordinate of Q minus the y coordinate of S. But now, in actual fact, they have given us what? QS, as what? 18. Do you know the y coordinate of Q? No, we do not. Okay? Do we know also, what's this? Do we know what's this? The y coordinate of S? No, we do not. What we need to find first, it is the what? The length of what? Where is it? The x coordinate here. If I can find the x coordinate of this line here, it can help me a lot. Why? Because if I know the x here, I can substitute on the parabola and get the y of Q at that point, and then on the straight line and get the y coordinate of S. Okay? But let me see, how can we do this? If I use QS here, it is long, it's like that. And then I want to see something that I might use in simpler terms. They want OR. They want the length of OR. I was seeing if I can use Pythagoras by any way, by any chance. No chance. Let's see. Okay, there is no point of contact between this one and this one. Let's see something. I want you to see this. Okay, I did not want us to use the calculus part, because if you are doing grade 12, you can apply calculus. But, okay, what you can do, you can say, okay, the y coordinate here at Q, since you do not know the value of x here, you can say this is the graph of what? Actually, it is the graph of what? The graph of f of x, okay? And then here you get the graph of what? Of g of x, okay? So it is basically you subtracting between the two graphs, okay? The distance between those two graphs, okay? If you cannot find the exact y coordinate, it means you might use, you can say it is the f of x, the y graph minus the bottom graph, okay? Remember y, it is the same as, remember f of x, it is the same as what? As y. So it tells me that the graph at Q, it is what? It is f of x minus the graph at S, okay? When y is equal to S, it is what? G of x. And then I'm going to say 18, it is equal to, what is f of x? I know f of x, it is equal to x squared minus 6x minus 7 minus into, what is g of x? G of x, remember, we got g of x, it is equal to x minus 7. So we're going to say x minus 7. Then 18 is equal to x squared minus, this is me simplifying, negative 6x minus this one, it is negative 7x, negative 7 plus 7, it is 0, okay? Then I'm going to have 0, it is equal to x squared minus 7x minus 18. How do I find factors? I'm going to say 0, it is equal to x minus 9, x plus 2, and then x, it is how much? X, it is equal to 9, or x, it is equal to negative 2. Okay, so we want to see if we substitute on any of these equation. Okay, let me see, what do they want here? Oh, okay. Remember what they wanted, Bona, basically. They wanted what? The length of OR. Okay? And remember, for us to find OR, we need the x coordinate of O minus the x coordinate of R. But now we just found the 2 points where the difference can give us 18. So here, when I check the x coordinate on this part, is it going to be negative or positive? We see that on here, the x coordinate, it is what? It is negative in actual fact. Okay? It is negative. So it means now we're going to be using, it means now Therefore, the x-coordinate of r is going to be how much? -2, because it lies on that same line. Okay? The 9, we do not care about it because it is somewhere where we do not know. So I'm going to say I now know remember, point O has a coordinate of 0 and 0. Okay? So I'm going to say for OR, it's going to be the x-coordinate of O. It is 0 minus the x-coordinate of R. We just found that it is -2. Therefore, OR it is equal to 2 units. Many students, again, struggle with this type of question. I know, but don't worry, we will do more of these, okay? Yes, we'll do more of these. And then let's look at those type of questions where now students say, ooh, it's hell. Where is it? Oh, B says write down the range of F. Remember, the range starts from the turning point going up. It means it's going to be Y is an element of starts at the turning point where it is -16 and goes to infinity. Or someone might say Y should be greater or equal to what? -16. Now, I'm interested in questions for number C. Number C says, I'll write it here. Number C says, let me do this. Number C says, 2C says, is it 2C? Or just C, C1. C1 says to me, where is, determine the values of x, where f of x is greater or equal to g of x. Okay? Basically, how do we translate this question? It says, determine the values of x for which f of x is greater than g of x. It means for which f is above g. Where is f above g on this portion? We look at where f is above what? Is above my g. Where is f above g? When I check here, from this portion, it is above. Can you see that? From this portion, it is above until we reach the point C. Okay? When we reach point C, they are not, it is not above it. Oh, here it says above or equal to g. So from -infinity up to this point C, it is what? It is above or equal to g. Okay, so we know that f from this portion. Okay, let me do it in terms of yeah, it's fine. So from this portion here up to this point, it is above, because when we move below, f is going to be below. Okay, so it's going to be this portion from where? From -infinity there up to where? Up to c, and at cx it is equal to how much? 0. So it means the first answer that we have, it is from -infinity to 0. Why am I including 0? Because they want where it is also equal. Okay, sharp. This is the first solution. Is there the second one that I can find? Okay, when we look from C like that, F it is below and we want above on again, so we do not take it. But when we reach B, it is exactly equal. Okay, so we want where it is also exactly equal. But when I move on from B to infinity, can you see that from B, and as I move up with it, it's F is now above again. Okay, so it means from B, what is the x coordinate of B? X coordinate of B, I think we found it at 7. So from 7, which I include due to this sign, and they are equal, up to where? Up to infinity there. Up to infinity. What is happening? F, it is above what? It is above G. So this is basically that where f of x is greater than g of x, they want that. So when you answer this question, you're going to say, therefore, x is an element of, from what? From -infinity to 0, which is included, or x is an element of from what? From 7 to what? To infinity. So this is what they mean when they say f of x is greater than g of x. Okay, someone might say from this point to that side where x is less or greater than 0. So less or equal to 0. We find that point from here going there. Where as we go to the left, my f it is above and my g it is below. So this is the same thing. Okay, this is the same solution written in different formats. Or someone might say, if I move from x is equal to 7 and moving towards the right, my my f it is above g. Okay, someone might say like this, but I prefer the what notation. But okay, someone might say we need to accommodate everyone. Someone might say x greater x less than 0 or x greater or equal to 7. Still correct. What if they said where f of x is less than or equal to g of x? What does it mean? When we translate this in terms of normal English, it says values of x for which f less than means below is below g. Where is that portion? When I check here, f it is above and now I want below. When I reach c, it is equal. Okay, let's say now they did not include the equal. I want you to see something. If they did not include the equal, I want you to see the difference. Then here, from c, it is equal. Okay, so there's no equal here, so I do not take it. But as I go below c, or moving towards the right of c, f of x is below. This is what I want. It is below, which is what I want. But when I reach b, they are equal. So I do not want that. So it means I wanted the value of x to be between what? To be between the x coordinate of c and the x coordinate of what? Of b. And I do not include them. Why? Because the inequality does not have an equal sign here. Okay. So it means I will say if when x is between the x coordinate of c, which is 0 and 7, then my graph will be below. The graph of x will exactly be below. Okay, will be below. Why am I not saying 0 and 7? Because this is wrong. This is wrong. Why? Because here they say to me less than, not strictly less than, not equal to. Okay, here there was an equal sign. Okay. Hence, we put that one. But now the question is why on negative infinity we did not include this one? Because infinity, it is not an actual number. Okay, so it is not a number. So it is just anything. So for infinity, every time, whether you have equal or not, you do not include it. Okay, yes. Someone might write it in this way. Okay, someone might write it like this: when x it is between 0 and 7. That someone is still correct. Then I like these ones. These ones are fun, but these ones are more fun. Let's look at number 2. C2. It says where f of x multiplied by g of x is less than 0. What I want you to take note of, let me write it here. I'm going to erase this. Okay, I'm going to erase this. I want everything to start fresh. F of x multiplied by g of x is less than 0. I want you to ask yourself this. How can we multiply two signs? Which two signs can we multiply such that it gives us less than? Remember, less than 0 means what? Less than 0 means negative. Okay. So which sign can I multiply of f and g such that it gives me a negative sign? So it means if f was to be negative, multiply by the positive of g, this will result in what? In negative. This is what I want. Okay. Or if f is positive and this is negative, it will result in negative. But if I say negative and negative, multiply by negative is going to give me positive. So I do not want this. Or I do not also want positive and positive is going to give me positive. I do not want this. So I want this portion. This one. Okay? This one. How am I going to do that? For these questions, what I like to do, I like to cut my graph into two. Okay? So here I want you to understand when f of x is less than 0, it means it is below the y, the x, it is below. Is in the y, okay. If f of x is negative, it means it is below the graph, okay? Remember we have above the graph, okay, above the y-axis or above the x-axis and below the x-axis, or in the positive y, negative y, okay? I want you to cut, for these types of question that has multiply or what, I want you to cut your equation, or rather your graph, on the x-intercept. Just cut them strictly on the x-intercept. Okay? Another x-intercept, it is here. But for this one, f of x is greater than g of x. Do not cut it. You only cut it when you have the one that says multiply by, it is less than 0, okay? Then I'm going to look first, okay? I want you to see this. This will be f of x. This will be g of x. I want you to check the signs between this, let me move this up here. I want you to check the signs between this interval. I want you to check the signs between this interval. Okay? So I cut it where? Okay, I think I cut this in a bad way. Okay. Let me do this. It's fine. I'll explain it like this. Let's start with this one, negative and positive. Okay? Negative and positive says, I want where my f of x, it is less than 0. F of x is less than 0 means, it means now f of x is negative. Where is f of x negative? It means it is below. F of x is negative on this portion. Here, 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 here. Okay? This is where f of x is negative. Okay? Remember, I wanted this part first. Okay? And then on this portion, can you see it is negative? It is positive like that. It is positive like that. Okay? Yes. Then I move. I want also where g of x, it is positive. Where is g of x positive? Okay? G of x, it is positive when y is greater than 0. Where is that? From here, it is negative. Can you see? Here, it is negative, 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 negative. I'm starting here. It is negative here, negative, negative. But on this portion, it is what? It is positive. Okay? So, can we have an interval in that case? Can you see here? Okay, let me change the color. Is there any portion where these two alternate, like where they correspond or they fight? No, because if I do that here, if I bring back all that my axis as I said you should do here, well, there is nowhere both of them when I multiply them in that portion, it is positive. Can you check? Check here, this one is negative. Also, this one is negative. So when I multiply them, they give me positive. Okay? But this is not what I want. But here, this one is positive and f is also positive. So they give me positive. Again, so this is not the portion that I want. I'm moving from this one. It does not give me anything. But let's change this to positive and this to negative. Which point is that? Where is f positive? F is positive here. And also positive here. Again, then we want to see where is g negative. Okay? Where is g negative? G is negative below here until this point. Okay? Then when I bring back my points like that here, my cut, where my point cuts the graph. Okay? I want you to see this. Let's start on this side of B. Is anywhere where when I multiply these two graphs, they give me the negative? No, check. This one, it is positive, positive. Also here, it is positive, positive. So they will give me a result of positive. So I do not want that. I check in the middle. In the middle, this one, the green one is negative, but this one it is also negative. And when I multiply negative and negative, they give me what? Positive. So I also don't want this. But when I come here, check this portion from A going to that side towards the left. Can you see that the graph of Q, it is indeed positive, but the graph of the graph of F, it is positive, but the graph of G, it is wrong, negative. From where? From A going to that portion. So it means now when I multiply this point, these positives here, the graph of F, which is positive, and the graph of G, which is negative, they give me what? The negative that I want. So it means I wanted this portion. From where? From when X, it is whatever coordinate of A going towards the left. Okay? Going towards the left. As it continues towards the left like that and like that, they give me what? A negative answer. So it means I'm going to say it is from negative infinity. When I move from negative infinity until I come and reaches point A, which has a coordinate of -1. Okay? So the first solution that I want, the solution that I have, it is that when X is an element of negative infinity to what? To -1. Or someone might say, when I move from X when it is going towards the left, this is towards the left of -1. That's where I find my what? My solution. Okay? If you do not like to highlight, it's still fine. Okay? Do this. Get the portions where Q is positive. Okay, let's look at the graph of F individual. Where is it positive? Here, 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 here. But here it is negative, 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 negative. Here it is positive, 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 positive. Let's look at the graph of G. The graph of G here, it is negative, it is below. Okay, we are looking at the Y. Okay, it is negative, but here it is positive, 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 positive. So we want the portion where it alternates with the, okay, for us to get something that is less than 0. For us to get something that is less than 0, it's either it is positive, negative, or negative, positive. But when I check here, on this portion, this one is positive, and this portion from this one is negative. So where do they alternate? Can you check? This one stops at 8, so it means immediately at A I need to stop. Okay? This one, it is at A, I need to stop like that, going up and then going down. So can you see where are my colors the same? Here, can you see this one is positive, the other one is negative? Okay, yes. So we have answered that question. So we said the answer for this one is going to be, therefore, X needs to be from an element from negative infinity to -1, or X needs to be less than -1. Let's change the question and say, what if they said we want where f of x multiply by g of x give us greater than 0. So it means we will want where this one is negative, negative, so that it gives us positive, or this one is positive, positive, it gives us what? Positive. Let's go to the graph and look at that portion. Where is that? I still need to cut my graph here at B. It is very important to cut your graph there. It's going to show you something important. Let's look at this portion. Can you see from A going there, it is positive and negative. And I do not want what? What do I want? I want positive and positive, or negative and negative. Okay, I'm looking at this part. Positive and negative and negative, or positive and positive. Okay, so now this one, it is out. But when I look from A to there, F, it is negative. I can see that negative sign red again. And also F, it is negative. G, it is negative. And also F, it is negative until. But when it reaches B, it stops. Okay? Because when it jumps B, it is now positive, positive. So it means the first solution that we have, it is between what? A and B. Between A and B, we are having what? Our positive. So when our value of X is between the coordinate of A and the X coordinate of B, which is what? which is x is an element of, what is the coordinate of A? It is -1. And what is the coordinate of B? It is 7. Okay. Then let's look at the other option again, that you can see. We are done with negative, negative. What is plus, plus? Plus, plus, it is where? Plus, plus, it is from B going upwards and towards that side. From B going to that side, which is the positive infinity. So from B going towards the positive infinity, we are having plus, plus, which gives us positive. So we also want that section. So it means it's going to be x is an element from what? From 7 going to positive infinity. So we're going to say x is element of from x of B going to what? To infinity, which is infinity, which is x is an element of, what is x coordinate of B? X coordinate of B, it is 7 to infinity. Okay. If you are someone who prefer another interval, you can say it is between 7 and -1. Or you can say here it is x greater than 7. Okay. If they say it equal here, we were just going to use this sign. Remember, infinity does not have that sign. So here you are going to say equal, greater, like that. So these are how these questions are. Okay. These are how these questions are. I'm going to erase that and complete the last of this part. Okay. The last part of the question. I'm going to look at number D. It says write down the coordinates of the turning point of y is equal to f of x minus 2. Y is equal to f of x minus 2. So it means I need to take, where I see x on my graph of f of x, I need to minus 2. Remember the original equation of f of x was x squared minus 6x. I'm going to lie. Minus 7. I get. So it means where I see x, I need to put what? -2. It means it's going to be x minus 2 squared minus 6 into x minus 2 minus 7. Remember, where I see x, I just substitute x minus 2. Then it's going to give me x squared minus 4x plus 4 minus 6x plus 12 minus 17. This simplifies nicely to what? To x squared minus 10x plus 11. Then when I simplify this, this is now my f of x minus 2. Okay? Then how can I get the turning point? The turning point, remember, x, it is equal to -b divided by 2a. Okay? What is -b? -b, it is negative into -10 divided by 2. What is a? A is still 1. Then you get something like 5. Okay? Then you substitute this one. You substitute to find y, you substitute this one on the graph of f of x minus 2, because we are not finding the turning point of x, f of x, but rather f of x minus 2 again. So we are going to come back and substitute this on that. It's going to be 5 squared minus 10 into 5 plus 11, which gives us 25 minus 50. It is -25 plus 11, which is -14. Again, also the same thing applies for this one when they want what? F of -x. F of -x tells you where you see x, you have to put minus. But you should be careful how you put your minus. -x squared minus 6 into -x. Okay, minus 7. So you just substitute, when you substitute, put a bracket. Here it's going to result to -x squared plus 6x minus 7. And then remember, this is this. How do you get the turning point? X is equal to -b divided by 2a. X is equal to negative, what is b? B is 6, then 2 into 1. Then I get something like -3. And then to find y, you're going to substitute this here. You're going to have -3 squared plus 6 into -3 minus 7. And then you have 9 plus, or 9 minus 18. Okay. Why is it the same? Why is it the same as this one? Let me see. Oh, yeah, it's this. Plus 6x minus 7. Negative b divided by 2. Okay, it's this. And when I substitute here, yeah, it's negative 16. So the coordinate, it is negative 3, negative 16. Here the coordinate was 5 and negative 14. So yes, that's all from me on how to apply using this part. Okay, so we will have more activities, or rather more exam questions that we will follow from these videos, where now we explain more. Okay, we know how to tackle this type of questions. Okay, these questions normally worth something like 2 to 3 marks in a question. Okay, so yes, thank you very much, folks. I hope you enjoyed, and let's meet on the next video. Thank you.